still on my side.
What's still on your side?
The words. Do you see them? If I turn.
Well, you got to flip the screen. It's different.
Wow.
For some reason, because it's on my side. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's weird. That was so weird. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, so good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is LaDonna Raeh.
And I am Lorenzo T. Hughes.
Yep, I almost said, and he is. I almost did it.
Hey.
Well, if you guys tune into the Wake Up Show Chicago, it's on WVON. It's 1690 AM, and you can also be heard on iHeartRadio and seen on YouTube. Now, last week, we tackled the biggest issues behind politics, business, and economic empowerment because Larry Ivory, the president and CEO of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, he hosts and he brings people that have knowledge about these subject matters, I should say, to empowering Black businesses. So we had Nigel Stevens from Phoenix Strategies. And boy, it was getting hot because we had some callers call in. And it would have been nice if I would have had those sound bites.
Oh, yeah, it was hot. It was hot. Just the conversation that he had in general on the executive orders that are taking place and what we need to do moving forward. It was definitely some hot conversation.
Yeah, not to mention major government cuts. The federal government is making massive budget cuts, and he talked about how the elimination of 1,382 contracts and reducing agency, or should I say, reducing entire agencies is taking place. Now, I know sometimes we can get off the rails when we are on the Wake Up Show, but we can't go too far because we only have an hour. So if you notice, we start off at about 9:07 because the commercials have to play. And then we talk about our week, and then we introduce our guests, and then they get to talk. Then we start taking callers about 9:30. But when you hear about budget cuts and 1,300 contracts being eliminated, that sounds like a lot, but it is. It's a major impact, especially for the IRS workforce.
Yeah.
And how many jobs is that?
The IRS workforce?
About 7,000?
Yeah. 7,000.
That's a lot because here's the thing. My cousin works for the IRS. I ain't going to tell you who she is, but this causes delays in tax returns. And he mentioned this. So those of you that are delayed anyway, you may have filed for an extension last year. That doesn't mean forever. This year, you may have planned to file for an extension, but don't plan on getting your calls answered either because there's been cuts. Mm-hmm. So I guess you're going to talk to AI. Maybe they can help you. I don't know.
Right.
What else was he talking about?
Was it the USA?
Oh yeah, USA workforce and how it's been reduced. Yes. How do you go from 5,000 employees to 200?
200.
Yeah, that's
some major cuts.
Please, no hurricanes, okay?
Major cuts.
No. What is it called?
Disasters.
Natural disasters. None of those.
So if you live in an area where there's natural disasters every year, when we're talking about if you're in the Hurricane Alley or Tornado Alley, or
you said Hurricane Alley.
I did say Hurricane Alley. If you're in an area
I love it. I like
that
it.
has hurricanes every year, and we know where those areas are. If you're down in
Careful,
that Florida,
you might start a earthquake.
Florida Key area, or if you're in the Midwest that suffer from tornadoes and things of that nature, or if you're down in that Louisiana area where you have to deal with flood.
Get your GoFundMe ready.
Yeah, we have to think about how that's going to affect you.
Now, another thing is on the day that Trump took office, January 20th, there was an executive order that was signed to eliminate what's called racial wasteful DEI programs. And a lot of Black folks are like, wasteful? Okay. But I want to put a little spin on it. I don't get to say these things during that hour because I'm only the co-host. Like, I'm more of the moderator, okay? But I just keep things on track and moving. But if I go off track, then everything goes off track. So here's what I really think about DEI. It sucked anyway. That's it. That's all I had to say.
I mean, well, even when you look at DEI and what it had stood for, Now you're starting to see the people that are complaining about it speaking as if they are victims of losing DEI. For example, when we start to speak in general
You sound
of
better when the
helping
mic is being held in your hand or
of helping
something.
ourselves or doing things independently on our own, excluding the others, then they feel like they're not included. You know, they feel like it's like when you hear the term reverse racism, when you see a group of people that you complain about not pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, and then when they decide to pull themselves up by their bootstraps on their own independently, excluding that particular group, now they're saying, hey, what's going on? We feel excluded. So when you do that, isn't that a form of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Yeah.
When you complain about not seeing your face in the group, because how often do we try to have a group, but they want to be included? They want to wonder why. Well, why aren't we allowed? That's a form of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
It is, but it's not the same thing. I was listening to even my guest earlier, and he was talking about how, I can hear all of that. I think you have to hold it. You have to hold your mic.
Okay, we're going to hold it, man.
All right, hold your mic. But he was talking about how when maybe this was a new, anyway, I've heard this because sometimes I'm sleeping and dreaming and I don't know the truth, what's really happening was not. Okay, here's the thing. Why is it when a black man commits a crime that it's highlighted as a black man committed the crime? Whereas when it's a white man, it's just a man. Okay. When it's a black anything, the word black is always highlighted. When it is a white person, it's just a person. So if we're getting to this racial neutral status, even yesterday, I felt weird signing up for a gym membership and there was a section that said race. I'm like, why is this still on here? Why even ask? Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, you have to look at. Sometimes we have to pay attention to words. Like you'll hear people say, "Well, we live under a democratic society or a democracy," when in reality we live in a pigmentocracy.
And what is that?
A pigmentocracy is everything is based on a person's pigment, their skin pigment, right? Right. Now, if you feel like that's wrong, show me the proof to where I'm wrong. Everything is based off of that person's pigment. That's why when you fill out any type of documentation or form, you have those type of boxes or that selection piece.
But is that in other countries like India? Do they say race? I want to know. I've never filled out an application because what are you going to say? Dark Indian, East Indian, light Indian, almost looking white Indian?
Well, you know, it's like, for example, let's say this right here. Everybody would agree that we live in the United States of America. So they labeled it, right?
Well, yeah, it was labeled.
How can you label yourself the United States of America when you look at the state, when you look at the country as a whole, it's divided into borders and states.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't a border a form of division?
It is.
So you have these different borders with different laws and systems and things like that, and different. And if you look throughout the history, there's different treaties and all of these different things.
And
you
tribes.
Can't call yourself united when the whole map of your system that you put together is divided into sections and people, north, south, east, west, time zones and borders of states.
Well, maybe they should be called boundaries. Because boundaries is, okay, I have this division if you cross the boundary. Maybe they should be called boundaries. But the boundaries need to be stated. It can't be assumed. Nobody's a mind reader. You have to know what those boundaries are to know that you'll be divided if you cross those boundaries. So I just want to encourage you to tune into the Wake Up Show each and every Saturday
Yeah, and you can hear more of this content, and like I said,
Or less. I don't think,
or less
yeah, because we only have 1 hour.
1 hour.
And so we have to go high level and give you a little bit of details and then we're out. So, but it's always good content. It's good information, especially for Black businesses. And I like to call them family-owned businesses because now when you have a place to go to get information on the sheltered market, on lobby day, on networking events that the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce has each and every month, which we started last month in January. The next one is March 6th. That's next Thursday, just 8 days away. March 6th, and it's going to be at Gallery Gouchard in Bronzeville.
Yes.
That's on 47th, right off of King Drive. Valet parking is available, and this is a free event, not the valet parking piece. Okay, don't be coming up there talking about, here's my keys. Yeah, make sure they're wearing a red vest. Here's the thing. Make sure you register, though. You have to go to ilbcc.org and register for this free event so that we know you're coming. It's always helpful. I'm going to give you some behind the scenes stuff. When you register, your name badge is already ready, and you don't have to wait for someone to write it out. You don't have to do much of anything because you're already on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So just click ilbcc.org. In fact, I could put it in the comments, can't I? I could do that right now. If you go to ilbcc.org and click on calendar and click on events, I think I'm saying that right, and then choose the March 6th free networking event, you will be able to get registered and walk right in, give them your name, get a badge, and start to mingle. That's what it's all about with professionals. It's not, hey, girl, what you been up to? What? No, it is bring your business cards, bring your QR codes, bring your notepad or your notes on your phone so that you can keep track of who you talked to and what needs to happen next. Follow up, follow through. Okay, so let me put this in here.
Remember, action takers are money makers. So don't procrastinate. Do it now. Don't wait till the last minute so that you're calling in talking about it, trying to pretend like you had issues trying to get this set up. So let's do it now. And remember, action takers are money makers. So let's start taking action.
And you know what? That brings me to another point because like Larry's not here to tell me that we got to cut it, right? So I'm having fun with this.
Yes.
Shout out to Larry Ivory. What are some excuses that you've used or that you've heard when people don't follow up? Don't say my dog died, okay, because that's cruel. I love dogs. But what are some excuses like, I meant to hit send. I didn't have the right email address.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right?
You know, I misplaced your business card.
Oh.
No, the more common one, I lost my phone and this new phone don't have
the new
updates.
phone excuse.
The new phone excuse is the very common one.
That doesn't work. Okay, because if you use Gmail, I'm sorry, I'm busting people out. If you use Gmail, even for your email service provider, because I use Gmail for my email service provider, even though I have my own domain. Yes, my domain is rayconsulting.com, but my email is not rayconsulting@gmail. It's lray@rayconsulting.com. But I use Gmail to handle all of that because I'm used to using Gmail. Well, guess what? If I get a new phone and I log back into Gmail, everything that was on the old phone is still on the server at Gmail. Yes, I have an IT background. So you can't continue to use that. Maybe for people that don't know, but I'm here to tell you that is a lie. Okay? Now, one thing that I think that we fall short on is having a system in place. What is your networking system? If you go out, because gone are the days of passing out cards and getting cards. I used to go out and get cards. I didn't want to leave it up to them to get in touch with me because they might not. They may lose my card, but I knew I wouldn't lose theirs. And then what if I lost theirs? Then I'm screwed. But here's I shouldn't say screwed on here. But like, for instance, at our last networking meeting, I hosted it. I host the meetings. Okay. So I'm on the mic and I'm telling everybody, look at this, go there, sign up, whatever. But I'm also doing my own networking. So I have to have my QR code because I can't hold on to cards because I'm holding the microphone. I have my QR code. They can scan it. And then when I scan them, I put a note in my phone notes to say, with their name and phone number so that I can go back through my notes because I don't know what's in my address book. I got about 3,000 people in there. I don't know who I met. You could take pictures with them. I know we've tried everything, but I use my notes in my phone and I say, Lorenzo T. Hughes, actor or public speaker, and then I put his phone number and why I need to contact him. I also created a form. So if you scan my QR code, it asks you where we met. And I might fill it out for you. Oh, what's your name again? Lorenzo T. Hughes. And it says we met where? At the March 6th Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce event. And your phone number is what? And I put it in there along with the email address. So that way I have your info in one spreadsheet so that I can go back and follow up. Because one of the issues that we don't follow through is we don't have a system. And I'm guilty of it as well. I just got my system in order like Thursday. Okay. Because it's real. It's like, okay, you're doing this, but sometimes you could be doing so much that you're not doing anything. You're making moves, but you're not making money. Okay. So get your system in place. If you're coming out to the networking event on next Thursday at Gallery Guichard, shout out to Andre and Francis. We'll be there. And you have to have your system in place. Otherwise, don't even bother coming. You just want to say, I went. That's on you. But have your business cards ready. Be ready to take down information and have your 30-second pitch ready. How would you describe what you do? Mm-hmm. If you're doing dog walking, lotion making, and you have a restaurant, tie them together. It's not that you're doing too many things. It's how does the dog walking facilitate or resonate with the restaurant? Maybe your restaurant is a dog-friendly restaurant. Maybe you walk people's dogs while they're eating at your restaurant. Make it make sense.
You want to let us know why we should come buy from you.
Why we should do business with you. Because the people that are there are people that are ready to do business with you.
I agree.
All right. So this week's show, I'm going to tell you real quick what it's about. I call it the Larry Show. You know why? Because Larry surprises me with his guests that he's going to have. And then we have him on the show. But you still get the one thing that never changes, the business empowerment, the Black community empowerment, yes, the self-improvement empowerment. That never changes. So whether you know what the show's about or not, that's what the show's about. Consistency. And you are the assistant producer of the show.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for taking the time to, be that. Because I've been producing the show for almost 3 years and it's been fun. Previously, we had other people that helped us produce the show, and that's been great. I'm telling you, it's always many hands, light loads. It's easier when there's more than one. Okay. And Lorenzo, I want to thank you for stepping in.
Thank you.
And stepping outside of your comfort zone, because we use EV-Mux. Nobody's ever heard of it. They're used to Zoom and StreamYard. We use EV-Mux. EV-Mux is different. So trying to train someone on EV-Mux is not the easiest thing because there's so many nuances. Along with, you can watch every video, but it doesn't necessarily specifically speak to what your environment is, because we don't just EV-Mux, we're at the radio station. So there's moving parts with the radio station. But I've seen your growth. And I want to say thank you for that. And I want to let you know that we see it. We see the growth.
Thank you. And to kind of add with that, just a little educational piece. And this is one of the things we don't realize, especially if you're new to business or you're aspiring to go into business. A lot of times you're going to run into areas of discomfort. Mm-hmm. Your success lies on the other side of discomfort. I've become comfortable with being uncomfortable. So once you can overcome that, being able to be being comfortable with being uncomfortable, you're going to find that success and growth lies on the other side of discomfort.
I'm uncomfortable.
Okay. Got to work through it. Push for that success, that growth.
Yeah. And, we have eliminated our commercials for the month of February because normally we go to commercial break. And they have been eliminated for the month of February. They will possibly resume in March. Now, if you are a business and you want to have a commercial on our radio show, because sometimes people, they're hesitant to call in and talk about their business because it's not the time, right? That's cool. That's a great way of thinking, except it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And how you should do it is to have a commercial on our show. Now, don't worry, we'll write the script. We even have multiple voices to record it for you. If you want to record it yourself, we can schedule some time for you to do the voiceover and walk you through it or do it with you. Okay, there's all kinds of approaches.
Yes.
But I also want to let you know that your commercial can be heard on our show on Saturday on WVON 1690. WVON 1690 is being heard all around the world. We look at our stats, and I have been privy to be one of their fill-in personalities. So I get inside information that I can share with you. WVON 1690 has been around since the 60s. It is a Black-owned broadcasting station owned by Midway Broadcasting. And it is run by the owners, and that is Melody Span Cooper and her husband, Pierre Cooper. Many times I've had the privilege of being in the same room with them. Their energy is impeccable. It makes me so proud to be a part of the WVON family. Now, although I am simply a fill-in, I'm not going to say just, but I am simply a fill-in. When I say put me in, coach, and they put me in, I give it my all. But I also know that there are advertising opportunities on this radio station. Okay, keep that in mind. Whether it be the Wake Up Show, whether it be on our social media, get in touch with me so that you can let us know that you're ready to advertise on the Wake Up Show. We have 3 commercial breaks. That's 9:15, 9:30, and 9:45. Your commercial or ad or promo can be 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute. The longer it is, the more you're ready to invest, right? You don't mind investing in your product. But if nobody knows about it, then you'll have fewer customers. So we would love to push you out there. And speaking of product, Michelle Foods. Oh, man, I should have had my syrup, man. I got so many bottles. Michelle Foods is one of our members on Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. Michelle Foods is a Black-owned syrup company, and they also have pancake mix. Yes. I was able to go to Jewel Foods in South Holland and clean the shelves. I was able to get buy one, get one free through the month of February. So I was like, let me get mine now.
And they got how many flavors?
They have 3 flavors.
3 flavors. Honey
cream, don't kill me if I'm wrong. Honey cream, butter pecan, and maple.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So those are, I bought a bottle for my mom for her birthday. We've gotten so much support from different individuals that are buying the syrup all across the country, in Ohio, Indianapolis, of course, Chicago, Peoria, Illinois, and more are coming in. I just haven't had time to make those graphics.
Yeah. And this is what happens when you introduce yourself, your services or your business or your product to, members of the chamber.
Yeah.
We get excited. We are excited about Black business. We're excited about it. So I would strongly encourage you, to tune into the show and strongly consider becoming a part of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. That way we can celebrate all your successes, all your wins. We can celebrate you.
I agree with that. I like celebrating our members. I was going to put an image up, but I can't seem to walk and chew gum. Watch this. Ashton Bray, he's the owner of Distrib. Distrib is a black-owned distributor for liquor, black-owned liquor companies. They get your liquor on the shelves. So if you're interested, Distrib, that's DISTRYB.com. We have Farmer Communications. That is Deborah Olivia Farmer. By the way, I wish I had my glasses, but I have her glasses and her lip gloss colors, mind you. So normally when I go on camera, I don't wear my lip gloss, but I wore it for my birthday, and I was like, and I wore the green color. And I was like, oh, green, yeah. I was looking super fly. I know some people were like, where you think you going? Yeah, I was sharp that day. But Deborah Olivia has a great brand outside of her marketing company. And so that's why I said make it make sense. You can have multiple brands, multiple companies that do different things. They don't have to intertwine and be joined at the hip. So Deborah's very, very fashionable. So for her to offer fashionable accessories and lip gloss, it just makes sense. So DeborahOlivia.com. Make sure you go there. We have, let's see, who else joined recently? There was a transportation company. I'm sorry, I got to have my list in front of me. But any of our chamber members that have joined, and join does not mean you paid 5 years ago. You did join, but your membership is annual. Okay, so like my membership renewal is coming up in November. I already know it's coming up. And I joined at the startup business level because I looked at it. It asked, okay, how much money what is your revenue per year? And I looked at it. I got a little nervous, right? I said, let me just come in a little bit. But I don't want to stay there next year. So my next renewal, I will be upgrading my my membership level from startup to the next level up. And that is the goal. When you come in at one level, you really should try to level up. Mm-hmm. And the way to level up is to utilize the resources that come with your membership level. Now, don't come in on the beginning level, startup, and expect to have a meeting with Larry Ivy 5 days a week. Or anybody on the staff team. And it's not discrimination. You still have access to resources, okay? And a lot of them. If you go to ilbcc.org, you'll see what those resources are. In fact, let me go there. I got to go there. Sorry.
And I'm going to say this while you're doing that.
Okay.
I know a lot of you, when we hear the word membership, we start to get discouraged and things like that. But I would strongly advise not to be discouraged. Because for years, I know not for years, but for generations, we failed to do one very important thing, and that's to build allies. Allies not only amongst ourselves, but with other cultures and other people. Becoming a member of a group that recognizes you, recognizes your value, is very important. This is when you start to build relationships and allies amongst, even if you just start out in your community. And then, and like I said, being new to Chicago, I hear you guys South Side, West Side, all these different talk. But you want to build allies and break those barriers of division and start building allies across those borders of division. If you start to look very closely with what's going on politically, is you start to see with a lot of these countries, they're breaking ties with bad business people, and they're building allies and relationships with honest businessmen and women. Mm-hmm. These are other countries. So as a nation of people within a nation, we have to start building allies so that when we decide to jump ship or break relationships or ties, we're not left alone in the dark. We have allies that we can go to and say, hey, look, I was doing business with this nation of people or this culture of people, and they were unfair. They didn't treat me well. So I want to bring my services over to you. I want to start developing relationships with you. So we want to start learning how and developing habits of building allies with people that appreciate us, people that value us and our services.
I agree. I want to be valued.
Yes.
Not devalued, not someone who has the privilege of knowing what my struggles are in my business, and then they take that and spread the word about
Absolutely.
how I struggled in my business or how I struggle in my business, and there's no way that I could be successful or know what I'm doing. I don't like that at all, and a lot of times we do that because I hear it. I hear other businesses, or should I say family-owned businesses, come to me and talk to me about other businesses and their failures, and they almost celebrate them. And that tells me a lot about those individuals. But the different plans, so for instance, if you were to join, here, let me put this where you can see it too, Mr. Lorenzo.
You say my eyes are bad?
Well, yeah,
I can't
I'm
see.
not saying they're bad. I'm just making it a lot easier to read.
Devaluate my eyes? My
Oh
eyes.
boy. Okay. Um, so the startup plan, you get tailored support, standard resources to help address, sorry, overall challenges faced by emerging businesses. You get supplier diversity opportunities, an opportunity to connect with potential clients and contract opportunities. I mean, that's pretty big for a startup plan. But that's also if you've made $250,000 for the year or less. Okay.
Mm.
That's what someone who is making under a quarter of a mil should be looking to gain as far as the advocacy representation and educational resources. But if you are a business pro level, that means that you've made more than 250,000 but not quite a million or up to a million, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you get more, you get tailored support. Tailored meaning your phone number, it's tailored to you. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I'm going to come in at the startup level and I'm going to still dial the number because I have it. Is that fair to people who have come in at the business pro level or the business advantage level? It is not. Life ain't fair, but guess what? We can't seem to get anywhere because we're always sucking the life out of what needs to be living. Okay. So if you go to, and I'm not saying we as Black people, I'm saying as a whole, that is what takes place. We have to be considerate. So if you come in at the business pro level, you'll get tailored support, strategic networking, and collaboration. So you'll be able to connect with entrepreneurs, mentors. Like you can call someone like Dr. Sterling, Dr. Jeffrey Sterling, and say, listen, I'm having some issues in my business. And this is how I'm operating. He can set aside some time to work with you, to talk to you, kind of coach you. And it gives you a little bit more strategy to put forth so that you can level up on your business. You also get contract procurement assistance. So now, because you're making this type of investment into the chamber every year, mind you, this one is $1,500 a year. That's just a little over $100 a month. I mean, we throw that away at Starbucks. I don't anymore, but I'm saying to gain that type of access, supplier diversity opportunities, that's the business pro advantage. But then there's the business advantage. The business advantage is for those that make over $1 million to up to $5 million. Ooh, I'd love to have that problem. And guess what? If you truly make over $1 million up to $5 million, then paying $2,500 a year is nothing to you. It's nothing. It is part of the investment process that it takes to make that type of money. More investment, more revenue. It's the truth.
I agree.
When you try to scale back, it shows. But just make sure you go to the website, take a look at the different levels. There's executive level, premier level, and president circle level. Don't think that, oh, I'm just going to come in at the $500 level just because. I want you to come in at the level that your revenues reflect, but I don't want you to stay there. Don't stay there. Startup is startup. Like next year, I shouldn't be startup. It's like buying your starter home. Okay? Your starter home is the home you start with. Your startup is is where you start, but not where you end. Get moving, people. ILBCC.org. And definitely tune in to the Wake Up Show each and every Saturday Um, there's a phone number that I have on the screen. That's the number you need to save in your phone. Just save it. Say Wake Up Show Chicago Saturday in your phone, 773-591-1690. You can talk to our guests. Our phones, they light up, but we answer.
Yes.
That's every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central. Anything you want to add for the Wake Up Show?
There's a lot I want to add, but once I love having these conversations, but sometimes I have to hold back. We're gonna save the things that I want to say.
Why are you holding back? Larry's not here.
Well, I want the people that are listening to this to tune into the show, become a member of the chamber, so that you can receive education on the things that you need to be educated on within business. I know what it's like to be starting out and not knowing. You're in a safe space to say, I don't know. I know sometimes our pride, gets in the way, and you're so prideful that you're afraid to admit that you don't know something. So you continue to make the same mistake over and over again when you have access by becoming a member of a group of people who get excited to give you answers and to help you. So one of the things that I like about dealing with the people that I've met in the chamber is that they are passionate about helping. So it's okay, and you feel comfortable with being transparent by saying, I don't know, can you help me? And that's one thing that I've found within our culture, especially when we talk about business and education, is that we're afraid to say, I don't know, can you help me? And so we have to start developing relationships and offering access to safe spaces where we can get together and say, I don't know, can you help me? And you can feel comfortable that the person is not going to, discriminate against you. They're not going to dehumanize you. They're going to passionately offer you help or assistance. But even if they don't know, we can point you to someone.
I like that.
Knows.
I love that. The resources are immeasurable. I do have a shout out to give. We've got McFarland Marketing, who did our website. That's Sharon Cumberbatch. She joined as a member and then jumped right in to redo our website. We have Gallery Guichard. We're having our event there because why wouldn't we have it at a member's location? Okay, that makes sense, right? So Gallery Guichard, that's Andre and Francis Guichard over on 47th, right off of King Drive. We have Davenport Advisory Services. Actually, I take that back. That's a test member account. Let me go to the real member account. We already talked about Semi Productions. That's Marcia Brown. That's another test account. You know what? We just moved over to a new test account, or should I say membership portal. Let me read the real ones. I was getting excited. Michelle Foods is another member. Michelle Syrups. It's sold in over 10,000 stores nationwide. Now, I know we're like, oh, she should be doing good. 41 years. She's doing good, but she could be doing better because those 10,000 stores, guess what I found? I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if she wants me to tell you this, but watch this. When I went online to look in a specific store in a specific city, it said they were sold out. But when I talked to her about it, she said they hadn't placed an order in a while. So this is why we need you all. I know you all are focused on boycotting and all that stuff. Look, you can do that too, but we can't talk about the protest and not have a policy follow-up. If we're going to protest against these stores, we also need to be doing something else in the meantime. Because if I can't go to Target, what should I be doing, right? And I'm not really a Target person. I like Target because it's, if whatever I want is, I know where to go get it. But I have transitioned over to Walmart just because we've been indoctrinated with Walmart. I can't go to a black store that's comparable to either one, right? So I'm forced to go to these places because I'm not driving 50 miles to get anything unless I'm on the way. So I'm just being real with you. However, since the 28th is our blackout date, And it's going to make a big difference. And Target, every people have already stopped shopping there. Because, you know, we got the 1.8 trillion, right?
Right.
So wherever we stop shopping, they're going to suffer. Why not put it somewhere else? If you know MichelleFoods.com with one L is selling syrup, buy it from there. It's on Amazon also. But what we really want to do is go into the stores where it's located so that we can send a message to them that this syrup is in demand. We have been automatically grabbing Mrs. Buttersworth and what else is on Log Cabin. I have been doing it out of habit. I haven't even stopped to read a Michelle Food bottle until I met Michelle Food. I met her at the networking event in January that we had at our sponsor. The company that sponsors our show, our Wake Up Show Chicago, is Wind Creek Casino in Southland. It's in Homewood. So we had our event there. And they're also a member of the chamber. I met Michelle there. She had on a beautiful necklace that I loved. And I got a chance to talk to her and listen to her story. Had her on the show, on the Wake Up Show Chicago. And her story is just a moving piece that says not only is Michelle Foods doing what they're doing in 10,000 stores nationwide, but she can do more in those 10,000 stores nationwide, and so can you. See, she's already there, which means she knows how to get there, which means she's part of our family, which means now we know how to get there. You have a product, but you don't have the chamber yet. I feel like those pastors that ask who wants to come to the altar, but I'm not. I will say, join the chamber so that we can back you up and put you in those places that you need to be to elevate your business. And I don't want to sound like an infomercial, even though I do. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right, guys. We'll see you Saturday, 9 a.m. Is that right? 9 a.m.? I know I'll be there. I'll be there early.
Saturday, 9 a.m.
I'll be there on time and early. And tell someone to tell someone and share this link. All right? That's all I got. Bye-bye for now. Wake Up Show. I wish I had the music. I don't. Do I? Let me see. I don't. Yeah. Countdown. I have no music in here. Wow. Never mind. We'll just do that.